Well, g'day everyone. Today I wanted to talk to you about a great lens that Tamron sent me. It's actually this 17 to 70 millimeter, and I'll just show you from the top so you can see what this looks like. This is it here on the X-T3. Really nice travel sort of lens because it's got a great focal length if you're dealing with 70 to 70 millimeter. You can see here that it says the DI3A VCRXD. Now it's a constant 2.8 aperture that you've got on this as well. It fits this camera really well due to the size. I think fits it beautifully, and it's really nice to hold. It does have a barrel to come out when you actually zoom, but it's not much at all. Certainly doesn't make the lens off balance or anything like that. So it works really good in that regard. And I think it's a really nice fit on something like a Fuji X-T3. Cameron asked me if I'd be interested to show how this works on the Fuji system. So I thought, yeah, I'd give it a go because I was dying to actually try it. I mean, I really do love the way that the Fuji system works. The mechanical way that this works is absolutely brilliant. So I'm really excited about, using this and checking it out. So what I thought we'd do first is we'd have a look at some of the specs that this has. Okay, so before we go out, let's have a look at some of the specifications that this lens has. I'm used to using these particularly with the Sony systems, but Fuji users, obviously this is going to be new for you using this type of lens, so you're going to be really excited when you try this out because I'm sure you're going to find that it's really fun to use. So let's have a little look and see what it is. So it's a 17 to 70 millimeter f2.8, and the model number is called DI3A2VCRXD. And it's the world's first 17 to 70 millimeter 2.8 large aperture standard zoom lens for the APS-C mirrorless cameras. And like I said, particularly this is brand new for Fuji. It's great too because it does have a constant 2.8 aperture, which is really good if you're dealing with running this in low light and things like that, and that can particularly be important if you're dealing with an APS-C camera. The VC also stands for it has stabilization, and the stabilization is actually very, very good. I'm quite good at holding these things handheld, so if you are doing that, it works very, very well without using a tripod. If you're not very sort of stable with the way that you shoot without lots of practice, you might want to still put it on a tripod or something like that. But I've tended to get good results. And like I said, I'll test that when we're out at Echuca, and I'll show you some long sort of exposure handheld shots. You can see that both versions are exactly the same. The Sony one and also the Fuji one look exactly the same. Like I said, the build quality on these is outstanding. Even though it's plastic, it is very, very well made. Like I've had a number of Tamron lenses, and that, like I said, they're as good as the day that I got them. It was awarded the best standard zoom lens as well for 2021. Like I said, it's very, very sharp. So the focal length is great. And now it's equivalent to a full frame of 25.5 to 105. So that's a fantastic thing if you wanted to just travel with one lens if you're going on holidays or something like that. It's a great all-around lens. The other thing as well is the close focus ability of this lens is terrific, and that's one thing I've loved about using the Tamron lenses in the weddings and everything that I've done. It is almost like a semi-macro, and that's one terrific thing about using it as well. The 2.8 aperture is fantastic if you want to keep down the ISO, which is also a nice feature. Now, the video shooting I never got to do with the Fuji, but I certainly did it with the Sony lens, and I found it to be really nice to use. The video autofocus was terrific, very, very fast. And also dead silent too. The motors in these latest Tamron lenses are super quiet. So if you have got something like an on-camera microphone or something like that, you're not going to hear it. It does also say here that it has this quiet RXD AF motor, and it has VC image stabilization, which gives you that ability to handhold if you don't want to put it on a tripod. Now it's saying here that you can also use 0.19 millimeter or 7.5 inch for close-up photos, and they show a sort of an example of that on here on the right hand side, but I'll take some of those so I can show you the results myself. But the close-up focus is really good on these. So let me just take you through a couple of things about this lens. It's just called, the model number is the B070. It's a 17 to 70 millimeter f2.8. It has 16 elements in 12 groups. I'm just going to skip through some of these, but the filter size is 67 millimeters, and like I said, that's a great feature because you have the ability to use the same filters through all of their lenses, which is really good. The length is 119.3 millimeters or 4.7 inches. That's a Sony. The Fuji one is slightly larger, so they're not quite identical. There's a little bit of a difference in the size. It might be the mount or something. The weight is on the Fuji is 530 grams, and it's 18.7 ounces. And it has 9 circular diaphragm blades as well. The minimum aperture is f22, and obviously it goes to f2.8. So you can see that lens really is very, very simple in the way that this is built. The building quality of the material is fantastic. In fact, I've found that the Tamron lenses are really amazing and they really hold up. Even though this is a plastic material, it's very, very strong and it's as good as new on the day. I've had lenses for 2 years now and they look as good as the day that I bought them. Basically, all there is a zoom ring on this side and there's a nice bit of resistance there. It doesn't pull out, so it's not going to creep. And also a nice bit of resistance too on the manual focus ring here too, so it's quite nice to do manual focus as well. So both of those things are really good in that regard. It does have a 67mm filter thread in here, and that's fantastic because I have these for all of my filters, and that's one great thing about going the Tamron line is the fact that you only have to buy one set of filters and then basically you can use them for all of the lenses that you've got. So that's terrific as well. It also has extremely quiet autofocus, so that's another really great part about using this lens as well. I didn't get a chance to do video with it, but I have with the Sony lens, and it works outstanding. So this would be exactly the same from the way that I've seen how it works in photography, etc. Very, very fast in autofocus, extremely fast. Okay, so let's go through the shoot itself. This was shot over a weekend where I stayed in Echuca. Now, the weekend was very overcast, so we haven't got much sort of sunny skies and things like that, but it is going to show you how this lens will work as a travel type lens. Also, it'll show you the rendering, sharpness, etc. I'm also going to show you some of the semi-macro shots as well. So to start with, I just wanted to sort of show you a couple of things. Now, I wanted to show first the advantage of having stabilization in this lens. If we go back to here, now, normally I would light, this is my granddaughter, normally I would light her up with a flash. But I just wanted to sort of try this for handheld to see how this would hold and the sharpness that you could get. Now, you'll notice on the left-hand side here, you can see where I've got everything listed. So the ISO speed is 320, and I've got it at 1/8 of a second, and it's f2.2. And you'll see if I enlarge this up, that really it has held the sharpness very, very well, considering that I'm holding this at 1/8 of a second. Like I said, this is the advantage of having stabilization in this lens. I'm not saying this is a good shot. I just wanted to do this shot deliberately to give you an idea about how this would work handheld at a slow shutter speed. This next one down here was shot at 5.6. I wanted to vary the f-stop through the whole sort of range of shots that I've done as well. This is 5.6 and it's at 27.4 and again, just having that ability to immediately zoom in and go up to 56.3, it'll give you an idea about the fantastic parts of having this zoom range on an APS-C camera. So it really was good to use. Again, this is another one that you can see here of the paddle boat. Now, if I zoom in, you can see here how sharp this actually is. I'm not sure how this will come up in YouTube, but it's very, very sharp, this lens. And this was shot at f2.8. So it gives you an idea about the sharpness that you're dealing with on this lens. It really is super. Let's keep going down. This was another one where I just wanted to show the zoom range. This was shot at 17mm. And again, I've then gone up to 27.4mm. There, this is another one where I've shot at 44mm at 1/30th of a second, and there I've shot up to 70mm, so you can sort of see the zoom range that you can get from this. Now, if you obviously don't mind cropping in, and you've got enough megapixels, well then you can crop in and get a decent crop as well. Again, I wanted to walk around the town just to sort of give a look at how this would go through here. Now, if I enlarge here, you'll see the type of sharpness. Like I said, these have had no sharpness done or anything like that. They're all directly straight out of camera. It's looking really nice. The color rendering is really good as well. This was shot at f2.8. This was another one that was shot at f4. Again, I just wanted to sort of see what it would show if we look through here, and you can almost read that writing that's in there. That's how sharp the lens actually is. I tried to sort of expose so I can still show the light that was on early in the morning as well. The ISO is up reasonably high because it was very early in the morning and it was overcast, so there wasn't much light there. I took this image because I wanted to sort of see what type of distortion that you'll get with the lens, and it's pretty well controlled. This is at f4 and it's also at the widest aperture, which is 17mm. And you can see that, yeah, there's a little bit of distortion down there, but not much at all. So the distortion is really good, actually. Let me keep going down. This was just another shot that I took too, just so the colours and the rendering that you can get through this lens. This was another one where I wanted to show the distortion as well. You can see that the distortion is pretty well controlled in this as well. It's not bending down, you know, as we look down that alleyway. It's actually quite level, which is pretty good. Again, just wanted to show some of the colouring that's in the lens here as well. Another one where, you know, you can sort of see the sharpness that's through this. This is f2.8, and you can see how sharp that is all through there. So this is another one I wanted to show for distortion. You can see here that it's pretty good. There is a little bit of distortion that you can see down the bottom down here, so that it certainly has gone out a little bit, but it's not bad, and you could certainly control it through Lightroom. I didn't edit these at all. You can see here that this is 17mm too, so it's at the widest focal length of the lens that's there. Let's keep going down. Another one here, just to sort of show the sharpness that you're dealing with in the text that you're dealing through here. So these ones I wanted to do a whole series of photos to see if there's any chromatic aberrations. So this was at 2.8. And if you can see, it's pretty good if you're looking at it. There's not much there at all. Let's keep going down. This was at 2.8 again. I wanted to go a little bit further away to see if there was any. It's looking fairly good to me, looking at these images. Like I said, I don't know how this will come up through YouTube. This was 5.6, so I just wanted to go up in the f-stop. And you can see again, it's very, very good if you're looking at it. I can't really see any chromatic aberration through there. Let me go down to this was f8. Again, I can't see anything there at all. A little bit further away at f8. Yeah, there may be a fraction of red that's appearing through here. There's not much though, and you could certainly easily control it if you wanted to. Again, just walked around the town just to sort of get some shots so you could see the colour and the rendering and things like that. This was just the barrels again. You know, I wanted to sort of show the sharpness that we're getting through here. This was at f5. 3.5, just wanted to show the camber there as well. And again, this is showing the different focal lengths. So this was at 45.1, and then I jumped up to 57.9mm. So this was another one that I wanted to show just as a wide angle to sort of give you an idea. You can see everything is nicely controlled here. There's there's no real issues that I'm looking through this. The rendering is fantastic. Sharpness is great, and distortion is also nicely controlled as well. Again, I just wanted to sort of walk around, show some different shots, just as a tourist would do, just to give you an idea. This is showing a macro fairly up close, and I'm going to show you with a plant in a second how this works, but I just wanted to show this at f2.8 and, you know, to show the sort of sharpness that you're getting through here as well. This was to show the macro capabilities of this lens. So this was at 24mm, and then I moved right in at 17mm to show the detail that you could get up close if you're dealing with focusing on these flowers and stuff. It really does get nice and close. You can see the rendering in the background too has just gone away as well at 2.8. If I went back to there, you could sort of see the original image, and then that will go to the up close one that you've got there as well. So what do I think about the lens? I'm really happy with it. Like I said, I've used this before in the Sony cameras as well, so I know the type of quality that you'll get from this lens that Tamron are producing. First time I've shot with the Fuji, so I really enjoyed it actually, and I love the images that came straight out of camera from that. It gives you an idea about what that will produce. Apart from that, thanks so much Tamron for sending me this. I do have to send it back. But I've really enjoyed using it. Video-wise, I didn't get enough of a chance to use it for video, but I have used the video in the Sony camera, so I've used it in that regards. So I sort of know the type of results that you get with it. I did check it, and it was super silent though, so there'd be no issues there. Hand holding was terrific. I mean, the stabilization is fantastic on this lens. Apart from that, if you have any questions, leave them down below, and I'll get back to you as soon as possible. Apart from that, everyone, I'll see you all in the next video. Bye for now.